What's up, everybody? So we are about an hour and a half into my trip to Blade Show in Atlanta. I decided to stop at a rest stop. This place is actually pretty beautiful. Trees all the way around it, bunch of little rolling hills and all that. But wanted to stop because I'm gonna try and do this at a few different rest stops on the way there. Of course, we are, like I said, an hour and a half into this whole entire trip thing of the 14 hours that we've got to actually do. So we're gonna see how this goes. I'm in the Porsche Cayman. Definitely not the car you would typically take on a 14-hour trip, but that is what I'm gonna take, and that's what I'm doing because I love this car, and I figured if I'm gonna drive, why not drive it? Now, of course, this is definitely not the most comfortable car in the world because the seats don't recline. You know, of course, there's there's an engine behind the seats. So when it comes to the cars like this, there is no room back here. So it's gonna be interesting doing this whole entire trip and just being in one position, but I'm gonna make it happen. And I mean, if I had to drive something, can't really complain about that. It's gonna be a blast. But guys, like I said, as I'm going through this trip, I'll stop here and there and, you know, catch you up to where I'm at. And then of course, we'll see you at Blade Show 2. Let's get it. All right, so this is rest stop number 2. It's a pretty cool rest stop. I mean, it's nothing super fancy, but we are in the middle of a whole bunch of really tall trees, and we're probably about 45 minutes from my dad's house. Actually, he lives in East Texas, and that's where we are right now. We're about 4.5 hours into this trip, about a third of the way in, and I'm feeling good so far. You know, this I thought was going to be not a very comfortable car to do a road trip in because, you know, it's got bucket seats, it's lowered with stiff suspension and low profile tires and all that. So I thought it was going to be pretty uncomfortable, but it's really not. It's been a good ride so far, and this is rest stop number 2. I think the next rest stop we're gonna stop at will probably be either in Louisiana or on the other side of Louisiana. I'm excited about this trip. I'm having fun, but guys, let's keep it going. Let's get to Atlanta. All right, guys. Well, I am finally in Atlanta. It's been one heck of a drive. This has been the longest I've driven this car, and it actually wasn't that bad. It was pretty good. I wouldn't suggest it if you have a bad back, but it's been a good trip. I'm ready to actually go inside and check that stuff out. Now, it is about 7:45 in the morning right now, so I've still got a few hours before I can technically go inside. I'll probably go get in line at about 8:45, 9 o'clock. And then I have to wait in line till about 10. Then I can get my pass, and then I can't go in till 11. So we'll see how it goes. But my goal for this is to show y'all the highlights of what I thought was interesting at Blade Show. I know y'all are gonna get a ton of videos on microtext and folders and EDC stuff. Most of the stuff that I'm gonna be showing y'all is gonna be things that are builds that I aspire to get to skill-wise. So they're gonna be really cool stuff. Y'all get to see what I thought was interesting about Blade Show 2022, and we'll go from there. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm excited about this, and let's go ahead and get inside there and show you what I thought was cool. Okay, so we have finished up Blade Show and I'm on my way back to my hometown. I'm at the Alabama rest stop. This is the Welcome Center coming from Georgia into Alabama, and just a cool little rest stop, just hanging out. This is a pretty awesome place. It's big, lots of trees around it, but we got the car down there. Looks like a little toy car. I could just carry it, but I have definitely really enjoyed this experience, and whenever we get back to the home shop, I'm gonna give y'all some of my takeaways, but you know, we're gonna film a little bit on the way back to my hometown. I've got a little over 14-hour drive, and we're just at the beginning of it. We're about an hour into this, and we'll see how this goes. I'll be talking to y'all a few times. I'm gonna try and get the drone out and do a little bit of filming, so we'll see how it goes. Alright, well, I'm back in Texas, and I was planning on filming a little bit more on the way back, but I drove throughout the whole entire night, and there wasn't much that I could film that would show up on camera because of how dark it was. But we're back in Texas. I'm excited about this. I got about another 3 hours to go before I'm back at home, but whenever we get back home, I'm gonna go out into the shop and give y'all some of my key takeaways from Blade Show Atlanta, and you know, tell y'all a few things that I thought were cool about it, and a couple of things that I thought were interesting. Not that cool, but interesting. So whenever we get back to the shop, I'll go ahead and give y'all that info. But yeah, back in Texas, it's been a lot of driving, but we're getting to the home stretch. I'll see you on the shop. Alright guys, so we're back in the home shop now. I'm going to try not to make this a 30-minute episode, but I am going to, for the most part, monologue-ish while showing y'all a few things for the last part of this video, because I had put out on my YouTube channel a little poll that said, hey, out of these 4 things, what are you more interested in? I'm pretty sure the top one was tips and tricks, which would be interesting for a Blade Show 2022 episode. I will be hitting on a few things in the next 5 or 6 videos that are all dedicated to stuff that I learned from Blade Show. So there will be parts of those videos that are where I'm going to say this was something that I learned while doing so-and-so at Blade Show. But I'm not going to hit on a ton of the tips and tricks in this particular episode, because a lot of the stuff that I want to tell y'all about, I want to show y'all why I'm choosing to do those things based on stuff that I saw at Blade Show. So y'all will have those sprinkled in through the episodes. Be on the lookout for those. But a couple of other questions. Who was I most looking forward to see? Whose work was I most excited to see? And, you know, what was the newest thing in the tools that were coming out? So what I'm going to start off with is a few of the things that I actually got from Blade Show, and then we're going to go into some of those things. So real quick, I'm going to run through these things. Big thing, this bag. It's not exactly a knife or anything like that, but I'm really excited about this. UKOALA Bag, wax canvas, all the little things. Got a little EDC holster Velcro strap right here. You got all kinds of compartments and pouches. I actually use this for the second day and the third day. It's really cool. It mounts everywhere. Chest, backpack, sling bag, on your hip with a thigh strap and all that stuff. So really cool. I had it on my hip the whole entire time I was carrying it. It was awesome. I had my camera, the battery bank for the camera, and business cards, phone, all that stuff in there. It was really nice because I didn't have to carry a backpack with me the entire time, just for my camera stuff. So that was really cool. Really liked it. Absolutely epic bag. I'm gonna leave a link for them in the description below. Now when it comes to handle material, we got some awesome zebra stabilized little scales here. Now the cool thing about this is these are super thin. They're already really flat. I got them from Jantz. That right there I'm going to be using to make a framed hidden tang. Talk to you more about that when we actually get into that episode. And like I said, I'm going to be referring back to Blade Show for how I'm making this, because I picked the brains of some awesome knife makers and how they suggest to do this stuff. And it's going to be awesome. It's super easy, super simple, so y'all will have that. Now, burlap micarta. These things right here, I've been wanting some of these for a little while, that loose burlap, and that's going to be awesome on an EDC that I've got planned. Plus, you saw this in the video. This is cast antler from South Africa. Absolutely awesome. So he had one of his knives with these on there as scales, and once you start profiling them, it looks epic. So I'll have that on there, and y'all will get to see that in a future episode. Plus, I was able to scoop up a couple of scrap pieces of Alabama Damascus. So it doesn't look like much. These two little scrap pieces of steel that they hooked me up with is going to end up turning into that knife right there, hidden tang knife. That's going to be absolutely epic. I haven't decided whether I'm going to do the swedge or just make it a drop point recurve. Plus that chef's knife right there. About a 6.5 inch blade. That's going to be pretty cool. Both of those are going to be made out of the Alabama Damascus. I've never purchased Damascus from anyone, so it'll be an interesting process to work with this stuff. It's very simple because it's still just blade steel, and it's I think they said that these were both 1095 and 15 and 20, so very easy to work with, very easy to heat treat. Those would be really cool, but I'm looking forward to messing with them and actually turning those scrap pieces of knife or stills into awesome knives. And y'all will get to see that in upcoming episodes, so that's gonna be cool. But a few of the things that I'm gonna be doing videos on, of course, all this stuff right here, I'm gonna be doing videos on these little Ulticlip clips that we have right here. This is really cool because you can actually pop the sheath off of the clip and cant the sheath whatever angle you want to, whether you want to pop it off your hip and click it onto one that's on your backpack strap or something like that. I got a couple of these. I'm going to do some videos on them with the upcoming sheaths, so you will have that. But when it comes to stuff that I got from Blade Show, that's primarily that. I did get an awesome knife from one of my friends on the Knives Templar podcast that I'm on, Odisir Pinto. This bad boy right here. Thank you very much for hooking me up with that guy. Absolutely beautiful. Really nice wood, really nice profile. And then fantastic fitment on that sheath with how the guard fits into it. And that bad boy clicks into there real nice. So thank you very much for hooking me up with that, Odisir. I will appreciate that for the rest of my life, so thank you for that. Now, that was the stuff that I got at the event. Now, when it comes to people that I was really excited to see, Odisir was one of them. Chip, Carlisle, both of these guys are on the podcast with me. There's a total of 6 of us, but being able to see these guys and meet them in person, hang out with them for a couple of days was absolutely awesome. I appreciated the hell out of it because I've been talking to these guys for a while now. You know, we're on about our 8th or 9th episode for Knives Templars on podcasts. I've got a link for that in the description below if you want to go listen to our podcast. It's really fun. It's not just about knives. It's about knives plus life and things like that. So it's really cool. I think y'all will like it because there's a bunch of funny just stuff that we talk about. But like I said, in the description below for that particular podcast. Now, I was really excited about seeing them, plus Denis Tyrell from Tyrell Knifeworks and a few other people. One of the guys from Australia, DB Blades, he was the part of the video where I kind of zoomed in on his little tablet that had his videos playing on it. His is the one that had the skeletonized kind of scalpels that were in that particular clip. I've been following him for a while now, for years, and love his commentary, love what he does. He doesn't focus a ton on YouTube anymore, but if you go back and watch his videos, you would have a blast. He made like a 1-inch thick titanium knife, which was hilarious. It was hilarious. So go watch his stuff. I'll leave a link for his stuff in the description below too if you want to go check him out. I think you'll like the way he makes knives, the way he thinks about them, his commentary, and all that stuff all wrapped up into one. But it was cool hanging out with him, talking to him, plus talking to the vendors, talking to the other knives, and the master smiths and the makers that were there was just awesome. So many takeaways from their handle construction, their thought process between, you know, functionality and just art piece and making them coexist together in a beautifully functional piece of art. It's just epic, and it made me want to really push myself to make just some awesome knives and think about things like inlays and handles and guards and all these cool things, and doing profiles and doing all these cool little aesthetic pieces on knives. I'm going to try some of that stuff. I'm really excited about seeing how I can do those things within my tools that I have here and my current skill set. So absolutely awesome. I suggest this in the last video that I talked about Blade Show and the videos leading up to this. If you were going to do something at a Blade Show or something like that, make sure you grab and hold as many knives as possible so you can kind of see how they do their handle ergonomics and how the handles feel, and talk to them about why they choose to do certain things certain ways. That is absolutely invaluable information. It is awesome to be able to have that and get that knowledge from these amazing knife makers. I just would say, if you're going to go there, you're going to go to a show like this, just talk to them about why they chose to do the certain things and learn from that. So that's what I did. And like I said, I'm going to have a whole bunch of little tips and tricks moving forward on the episodes that are dedicated to what I learned from Blade Show 2022. Now, one of the things that I thought was interesting was how many subscribers that I have that had their tables there, that were exhibitors, that were makers at the event, selling their knives and showing off their work. How many of them actually watched my channel and were like, hey, that's you, that's awesome. I'm very thankful that y'all watch the channel and that I can impart any type of knowledge on y'all, because y'all make amazing knives. So thank y'all for coming by and watching my stuff. I really appreciate that. Plus, I really appreciated the amount of people that were brave enough to walk up to me and just say, hey, what's up, Eric? I'm so-and-so from this place. That was absolutely awesome. There were a ton of y'all there, and I appreciate every single one of y'all. And thank y'all for coming up and talking to me and letting me kind of know who y'all are. I really was excited about that. I didn't know how it was going to go, so I'm just thankful again that y'all did that. And moving forward, definitely if y'all see me out and about, or if y'all see me at any shows, don't be afraid to walk up and say what's up. Now, going forward, I will have a table at Blade Show Texas next year. Plus, I'm also going to have a table at Blade Show Atlanta next year. So we will have that moving forward. Y'all will get to come by, see all my stuff. I'm going to have things there. So there you go. We will have that. Now, when it comes to a couple of the tools that I thought were really cool and being able to see different things that were there and kind of innovative type of inventions, of course, the 2x72s, Ameribrade, Brodbeck, those two guys, absolutely epic machines. And I'm still on the fence between which one I'm going to go with, whether it be an Ameribrade, whether it be a Brodbeck, or I'm still up in the air about getting one from Brian House. He's got the ones that you can actually build and set all up. Aaron from Alien Knives did one of those recently. Absolutely awesome grinders. The guys over at Art of Craftsmanship, that's the grinders that they use. And Brian just makes an awesome kit that you can put together yourself. So I'm kind of on the fence on which direction I'm going to end up going with, but y'all will know as soon as I do. I've got to talk to them a little bit and kind of pick their brains for what makes the most sense for my particular shop and my setup. So we'll see what happens whenever we get to that point. But they had some amazing attachments, ability to do fullers with the surface attachment, and like all the cool things that you could do with moving things around and new sharpening systems that they're coming up with. It's going to be awesome to have y'all see those things in the future, and I'll let you know, like I said, which direction I end up going with. But their grinders were epic. All of their accessories and attachments were awesome, so we'll see how that goes. Now, when it comes to something else, it would be something that I don't have, but I got to talk to the guys a lot about. So heat treat ovens. I've wanted a heat treat oven for a while now, over a year, almost 2 years, and I've been trying to figure out the right one for my particular shop setup, and I think that I landed on one. So this right here, it's absolutely an amazing heat treat oven. So getting to talk to the guys that build these and design these, it was awesome. Just the way that they had their thought process behind how they built it, and these small things that made it different than a Paragon or an Even Heat were awesome. So small things like they've got a channel between the fire brick for like the actual oven and the outer wall. They've got a channel all the way around it so that heat that builds up in between that can be pulled out the back with a fan. So there's a fan on the back side of it that pulls air past and out. So the actual frame that's around it is only about 5 degrees warmer than just ambient air. So you can just touch and hold it. It could be 2,000 degrees on the inside. Put your hand on it, nothing. Cool to the touch. So that stuff, and them talking about how they build them for efficiency so that there's no heat escaping and all kinds of different stuff. It was absolutely awesome. I love talking to those guys. I talked to them for about an hour and a half about everything from the actual oven to life and family and hobbies and all that stuff, and those guys were absolutely awesome. That is definitely the oven that I'll be going with whenever I get one. They've got the full size that I would need coming out at about July, so that's whenever I would be, you know, setting up to get one, and I'm excited about that. But that was definitely one of the things that I thought was awesome. There was a bunch of other knives. So for me being a knife collector, I did look at some of the folders and, you know, your Microtechs and all that stuff, but those are not things that I can make. So I didn't really talk with them a ton about construction and makeup of those particular things because I'm not at the point where I'm making folders. Whenever I get to that point, I'll be talking to some of those makers a little bit more. Right now, I'm doing a lot of the full tang stuff, and I wanted to pick the brains of all the people that made that particular stuff at these events because that's in my wheelhouse. Eventually, I'll be doing folders. But I would say one of the biggest takeaways from this particular event, again, was talking to everybody, learning about what they do, holding everything, checking out ergonomics, and, you know, getting humbled by the amount of people that were there that wanted to talk with me about stuff that we got coming up and all that. And again, I had a blast talking to every single one of y'all. Now, there was one thing that I wanted to hit on that I thought was a little weird. So whenever I was filming the different makers, and this wasn't all of them, some of them didn't actually make it into the video, but I want to tell y'all something. Y'all have the ability to make anything that I make. There's nothing that I make that is above your skill level. You might not be there yet, or you might be way past it, but you can always get to that point, and you can always make what I make. Every single one of y'all can. All it takes is a little bit of work and taking your time and start making it. So I will never tell you what you have the ability to make or not make. Other than, well, I'm telling you that you can make everything that I can make, so technically I'm telling you what you can make. But I won't tell you what you can't make. And that was kind of funny whenever I was filming some of the people. They would do the whole, you can film it, but you won't be able to make it. You can take pictures, but you won't be able to recreate it. Assuming that I didn't have the ability to. And that's not something that you want to tell somebody who's absolutely admiring your work. You don't want to start off the conversation with a condescending statement. You know what I mean? Now, one of the things that I changed after I got a couple of those was I would walk up to the tables and say, hey, I have a YouTube channel. I'm filming my highlights for that particular channel. Do you mind if I film your work? And it would skip past the negative, you know, statement right off the bat. But not everybody did it. It was just something that once it happened a third time, I was like, all right, cool. I guess these people just think I'm out here trying to steal their knife profiles and whatnot. But I thought it was kind of funny. Some of the people around me thought that those guys were being jerks. It wasn't a big deal. You know, people can say whatever they want to say. But once I explained to them what I was doing, it instantly changed. They were no longer in the condescending frame of mind. So it was okay. And we had great conversations with those guys. The guys that just kept harping on it, yeah, they weren't in the video. So when it boils down to it, be positive whenever you're talking to people about your knives or their knives. There's no need for condescending conversations or anything like that. If you want to give somebody constructive criticism, be polite. There's no reason to be a jerk to anybody. So I'm going to leave it with that. Now, if there's anything else that y'all want me to talk to y'all about Blade Show 2022, let me know in the comment section down below, and I will try and hit on it either in the comment section or in one of the future videos. Guys, thank y'all for coming by. Thank y'all for watching this whole entire thing if you're still here at this point. Okay? If y'all would, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Y'all have an amazing day. Y'all stay safe out there, and I'll catch y'all next time.